I think Winchester is a quaint New England town with families and people working together, living in a cobble-lined street that have to deal with real issues every day.
One of those issues is the availability of prescription medication in this town of 22,000 people just outside of Boston. A youth survey showed an increase in the number of kids using medications not prescribed to them, mostly because of easy access to unused pills. The Winchester Coalition for a Safer Community wanted to tighten up that access.
There's a very high rate of non-adherence to medication treatment, interestingly enough. I think most of us physicians think, we write the prescription, the patient dutifully takes the prescription, and life goes on. The reality is that either intentionally or unintentionally, people don't take medication.
People may forget a dose, fill the prescription and then decide not to take it, or keep medications around to use as needed.
So I think there are a number of reasons. Bottom line is that these medications do get left over, and there they sit in the medicine cabinet.
Some people knew they should dispose of medications to keep them from being misused, but did not always handle it properly.
We had a lot of people thinking about destroying their medications in ways that they didn't realize were really detrimental to the overall health of our community. Flushing it down the toilet or just throwing it out at our transfer station, the dump.
So the coalition saw the need for some sort of take-back program, and knowing the community helped them realize how to approach it.
We are helped by this real push to go green, to be conscious of what you're throwing away in the trash, be conscious of how you're using our resources. So on top of that motivator, if you lay on the need to keep our kids and our seniors safe, if you lay on traditional public health approaches, the motivation to participate increases. When we brought everybody to the table, that's when it really started rolling. All of that kind of sped up to originally doing a take-back program that was integrated into our hazardous waste collection, so that the overall community had a sense of, oh, I'm cleaning out my garage, taking the paints that need to be thrown away in an environmentally safe way. I also need to clean out my medicine cabinet. I also need to make sure that the rest of our home is safe.
What began as 2 collection days a year was soon not enough.
What we discovered was that there was a real need for ongoing responsible disposal, that we had to figure out a way for people to be able to dispose of their medication and not having them actually store them in their garage or in their basements like they would paint and other hazardous waste. Because that poses another problem. If you're storing medication, you're at risk for thefts and violence and other issues.
So the research group came back together and found a solution: a medication take-back kiosk in the lobby of the police department.
Our front lobby is a secure setting where people need to buzz into the front lobby. So it's a way to control who enters and leaves. And also the security of the kiosk is important. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, people can feel free to come in.
Keeping close track of the medications is important because only law enforcement officers can possess prescription medications without a prescription.
My role is to oversee the kiosk. So on a bi-weekly schedule, I stop, I empty the kiosk. We have 2 large tubs that we note for this program, and usually quarterly we fill both large tubs to the very top. We then categorize it, we move it to our property room. We secure it like we do with other drug property and evidence, and then quarterly we document what we've taken in, and then we go ahead and transport it to the facility that incinerates it for us.
Black markers sit on top of the kiosk so people can cross out their names and addresses, and zip-top bags keep liquid medications inside from spilling. The kiosk is available to those who just want to drop off one thing, and to people like school nurses who might have lots of items to dispose of.
A certain amount of things do get left behind. A lot of children who take a daily med, their parents will leave a couple of extra here. They take it at home and, in case the student forgot to take it. So it's not uncommon for there to be 15 or 20 pills left over at the end of the year. Parents probably even forgot that they sent them in. At the end of the year, if a child has brought in medication that they're taking on a daily basis, I notify the parents that there's a little bit left over and could they please come and get it. If the parent does not come in to get them, then they are brought to our Takeback program at the police station, to the kiosk.
By looking at what people drop off, the Winchester Coalition for a Safer Community realized they needed to create a needle disposal program, educate about the dangers of taking foreign medications, and teach about the dangers of taking expired meds.
What's interesting for me is how that question has come up for several times when I talk to other communities. They're like, wouldn't it be easier just to collect it and throw it away? I said, yes, but you're losing a data point.
But take-back programs only work if residents use them. And that means making people aware a take-back program exists.
One of the things that we found out in our community, it's an interesting small town, we don't have billboards, and we were struggling with figuring out where do people go all the time anyway? Where could our message be visible? And one of the things that we found was that the dump, the transfer station, is by far one of the most frequented places in our community.
There is no public trash pickup in Winchester. So every person has to drop off their garbage at the dump, meaning they have to drive by the fence on the way out. The marketing tactic worked so well, the town now charges money to put a banner on the fence. That's just one of the successes this town has had.
We know we've actually decreased the number of thefts that have happened in town due to prescription medication. So the number of elderly people who are targeted, that's going down. We know we've decreased the number of accidental overdoses, looking at what the hospitalization emergency rates are. So that all goes into the little bin of outcomes. If we don't take care of each other, who will?